Hey there, it's time for Pumpkin's Periodical Provocations and Inspirations. Pumpkin is sleeping here on the studio table right next to me. And I want to take a minute to share with you guys some of the fun that we just finished up with in our Sunday devotional. And I created this fun collage paper, and I decided, you know what, we are going to use this same color palette in Pumpkin's Periodical Provocations and Inspirations for this week. So let's jump on in. Let's get Pumpkin settled down before he gets his tail in the paint here. I've got my notebook. I've got my little divider that's just the flexible cutting board that's been cut down. Pumpkin is like pushing his way through things here. I don't know for sure what he thinks he's doing. Oh, he's going for sticks. Pumpkin's going for sticks over here. I even have, look, I've got washi tape that will actually go with this as well. Okay, so what I did is I had paint left over on my palette from our devotional that we did for Sunday. And whenever I have leftover paint, I try to use it in some way. And a lot of times I do background collage papers. Okay, so that's what I did on this one. And there's still a couple little spots that are wet that I want to dry really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and use my heat tool, dry it really quick, and then we're going to start doing some collage on this page to go with this week's fun little kitty. Look at that fun little kitty. He goes right in with our color scheme, our color palette, and it says there is always a reason to smile. So true. So let me dry this. Because I just scraped the paint on, it's not very thick, so it dries very quickly. And I just had a couple of spots that were still a little bit wet in the last colors that I did, but as you can see, I just used my paint scraper, dipped it in my paint, and then scraped it onto my paper, all right? So now, when I create a paper like this, I want to put it on here on my page in my art journal for Pumpkin's Periodical Provocations and Inspirations. But I want to do a collage. I don't want to just put it on. And I'm sorry, I'm looking for my matte medium gel, and I am not seeing it here. So what we are going to do, what do I have? Nope, that's gesso. We don't want to do gesso. Sorry guys, give me just a second. There it is. I found it. I found it. Okay, let me get that open and stick that right over there. Okay, so this is just my matte medium gel acrylic fun. And what I want to do is, see, I've got my card here, so I'm going to kind of pick and choose some areas that are going to introduce some fun color variations, and I want to have torn edges all the way around. So I am going to tear off those straight edges, and because I'm working in a smaller area, I'm going to tear smaller pieces. Don't want all of that white, but I want to maintain that blue, so there we go. Let's come in and get some of this here. Really like that. Some blue. There we go, and then look, here's some good pink. Let's tear this edge. Make two pieces there. And then let's do one more round right here. And I'm just randomly tearing my pieces, okay? I'm not worried too much about it, but I do want to make sure I've got a pretty good mix of my colors. And then what I'm going to do, this should be enough to cover my page. So I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to take my matte medium and I'm going to use my little rubber spatula. And I'm just going to, I don't have my page taped down today. I'm just going to try to make sure it stays on my, my cutting mat to protect the other pages behind it. And I'm just going to take that matte medium and I'm going to start putting it on my page, going all the way to the edges. And I am just going to start sticking down pieces. And as I stick them down, I'm going to go back over them and give them a coat over the top as well. If I have some pieces, some edges that don't quite make it all the way down, just make sure I get a good coverage underneath. And it's appropriate, I'm getting some cat fur in here as well. Can't have Pumpkin's book without cat fur, right? Except that it's black, it's Viking fur, not pumpkin fur. Okay, now my paper is a little bit thicker, so I'm just making sure I've got some good coverage. I'm not worried too terribly much about whether or not my base page is completely covered. See, look, there's another cat fur. Not worried about having cat fur in here. We're just going to get this on. And I am purposely kind of switching my pieces around so that the direction that I scraped my paint is not the only direction that my paper is going to go. And I'm just making sure that cutting mat underneath stays in place. Bring these in randomly, cover it again, making sure to catch those edges. That's what seals it down to the paper. Let's bring in another one and kind of come in right here. And I just keep spreading that matte medium around. I want to cover this little spot right up here as well. So let me come up with this one. And anything that's hanging off of my page, I can trim it off when I'm done, okay? I just want to make sure that those edges are down good. If you don't have one of these little rubber spatulas, you can use old gift cards, you can use a brush, anything like that will work. You could do this with Mod Podge. I just tend to like the feel and the texture of the matte medium a little bit more. And again, just kind of switching up which direction those paint strokes are going from where I created the collage paper. I don't want them, I want to add interest to it, so I'm not making them all go the same direction that they were originally painted. And then I've got quite a bit of matte medium on my spatula, so I'm kind of spreading it out. And I'm okay if I have some white spaces coming in between. I'm kind of purposely leaving a few of those, okay? And as you can see, I just kind of keep spreading everything out. I want to keep it kind of a thin layer, but make sure everything is adhered. If I miss some edges, I go back underneath with my spatula if I have to. Looks like we're almost there. I got a couple more pieces that I've got torn. Let's see if that's enough. Make sure that I've got my cutting board underneath there just to keep it safe. Come in with that one right there. And then I've got this one. I'm going to put him right here in this corner. Okay, now I'm not worrying about this space right here because I'm actually going to put our card right in that space. So I'm going to put a pretty good layer of our matte medium on there because the card is thicker. I want to make sure it's going to stick down. And I'm going to kind of line it up with that bottom edge. And I'm just going to press it all down really well. I'm not going to worry about going over the card this time. I'm just going to make sure I've got it pressed down and it's going to stick really well to that. So as you can see, we've got a fun background going on there. Now I just need to take, clean off the matte medium off of my spatula. And then we are ready to dry this. So let's go ahead and dry it with the heat tool. So let me close this up. It's going to be loud for just a sec. I'm just drying that matte medium. Making sure everything's stuck down good. Pumpkin's still over here taking a snooze. Let you guys see him. There's Pumpkin. He's snoozing. This one even looks like Pumpkin. Okay, there's just a couple of little spots that I can see that are still a little bit tacky. I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to trim, you know, I don't know that I want to trim the edge. I may leave the edge kind of wonky like it is. And you know what? I still have paint on my palette here. So I think what I want to do, I want to tie my card into my background a little bit more than what it is. So I'm going to take my scraper that I used for the background and I want to add in, we're going to start with a little bit of pink. So I'm just taking my scraper, dipping it into my paint, and I'm just going to come in and scrape on a little bit of pink. I don't want to cover my words, so let me take that little spot back off. I just want to tie it in with my background a little bit more. So let's get a little bit of this bright yellow green. It already has the blue in there, so I'm just going to kind of stick to some of the other colors. Let's try some orange. And then a little bit of orange on this side. There we go. Okay, I'm good with that. So let's wipe off that scraper and show you guys what we have going on. So we've got our collage background. I've scraped a little bit of the paint around the card so it's tied in together. Perfect. Lovely. And now I think I want to make this pink pop a little bit more. So I'm going to take some washi tape that I have right here. And if you guys have not worked with washi tape, it is just a really thin, it's actually kind of like a masking tape. But it's also really fun to add just some fun little details. So I'm just going to bring it in right over some of our background and add it in a couple of different places, different lengths, different directions even. And it's actually sticking really well to that matte medium. It's giving it some nice grip. I'm going to put 3 pieces up here at the top. but I'm going to keep them in different lengths. I am trying to kind of keep them going straight and kind of spaced out pretty good. And then I'm going to bring in another strip right down in here along this edge. And then again, I'm working in odd numbers, so I'm going to do one more kind of right in here, right along the edge of the card. I really kind of like the look of that on the card. I know my paint over here hasn't quite dried, but it'll just kind of hold on to it. So I'm going to put that little one there, and then I'm going to come right across this corner right up here. And now to kind of break that up a little bit, I'm going to bring in some of the yellow too. Just a few little places of the yellow. And I kind of want some blue in there too. You know what I want? I'm going to take some of my blue paint that I have left over, and I'm going to go over that washi tape. That's fun. That is a lot of fun. Look at how fun that is, guys. All right, there is our pumpkins, periodical provocations, and inspirations for this week. I hope you guys enjoy it. We want to just inspire you to embrace those little things that make you happy. This week is There Is Always a Reason to Smile. Y'all have a fabulous week.